Welcome to a special Popper's Perspective edition of the Giants Huddle podcast presented by Bob's Discount Furniture. Get Bob's Discount at the official furniture store and mattress partner of the New York Giants. Shop in store at mybobs.com. So the Giants are playing the Houston Texans this week. The last time Houston came to MetLife Stadium was way back in 2014, and the Giants beat the Texans 30-17. And our guest on this podcast is the man who carried the water that day, the one, the only, Rashad Jennings, who just tuned him up for 176 yards and a touchdown. Rashad, how are you?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Hearing that stat bring me back to being in the backfield, man. That's a good thing to hear.
Yeah, I mean, let's talk a little bit about that day because you guys scored 14 points in the second quarter. Victor had a 26-yard touchdown catch. Victor Cruz to make it 7-0. You get a 1-yard touchdown run. And, I mean, it's not like you were ripping off gigantic chunks either in the ball game. I mean, you had a lot of carries that day. As I'm looking at the stats, they fed you the rock, man, 34 times.
Yeah, and that was something I was begging for. I remember at that time. Yeah, I think that like 25 yards may be the longest run.
18 was your longest run.
18, yeah. It was just a grind. We grinded it out. They trusted in the run. We stuck to it. I think it was early in the season too, that particular game, and that was something I remember asking Coughlin, listen, we got to grind this thing out, man. You brought me here to ride. Let me ride one time. And 34 was not a by committee. We had decided to do running back by committee at one point in time, and I thought that was a failed recipe. But that particular game, they said we're gonna ride you.
So Odell is not active for this game. So you're kind of going into it knowing that you don't have Odell. You do have Akeem who's available to play. Was the mindset going into this game, hey, you know what? We're going to pound the rock here.
Yeah, I think so. We obviously was adjusting to what they were giving us, and we had the attitude of repeat plays. I think I actually seen the Giants do that. I believe was it against the Jags to close the game. They ran the same play like 7 times out of the last 6 plays, or out of the last 8 plays or something like that. It was smash mouth football. Y'all know what we doing, and we know what y'all are doing. Just let the best players win. And sometimes you can out-coach yourself. So I think that day we honestly we were making plays based upon, we were making the calls based upon what they were giving us. And they were, for whatever reason, stacking the box and, trying to say, hey, beat us with your arm, but we still ran the ball.
So as a running back and in conjunction with your offensive line, is there no better feeling on earth than when they know you want to run it, you know you want to run it, and they can't stop you?
It's satisfying. Imposing your will on somebody, and how we get to the term smash mouth football is when everybody in the stands and stadium, referees, janitors, everybody knows what's about to happen, and you can't wait to see which athlete wins. It's no trickery. It's smash mouth football. So I appreciated that. That's the kind of environment that I enjoyed. That's actually, Coach Coughlin had said before I became a Giant, I was with the Oakland Raiders, and I became MVP of the team, Offensive Player of the Year on the team. I only played 8 games. When McFadden went down and got hurt, I replaced him. And even when he was healthy, they gave me the starting role. And I remember playing against the Giants when I was in the Oakland Raiders. When I was with the Oakland Raiders, and Coach Coughlin, we had a quick talk after the game. He was like, "Yo, man, I like the way you run." And it's just downhill, smash mouth is hard. And when I came over to become a Giant, that's exactly what I anticipated to do, is be written out, smash mouth football.
Rashad, well, you had a lot of big games for the Giants. All Giants fans remember, that cool moment in Buffalo when, you're throwing the hands and all that other stuff. Just talk about kind of your running style and why you enjoyed your time with the Giants.
Oh, listen, Giants, I still bleed blue, baby. There's nothing like being in the Mecca of New York. Fan base, the opportunities, just the color. It's one of my favorite colors, that blue. And also, being a part of such a great franchise in history where the organization is not afraid to talk about Super Bowls and winning Super Bowls and striving for greatness. That was a big difference for me from playing with three different teams. When I was in New York, it was okay to actually strive for greatness and not just be there to grind. And so for me, I love it. I'm always going to bleed blue, and I got some great memories. Obviously, I got a chance, man. One thing, and I still talk about it today, I got a chance to watch a kid become a celebrity overnight, and Odell Beckham Jr. Like, I witnessed it all. I locked it right beside him. I remember when he first got to the team, he was injured.
Right.
And then, like, he's walking around the locker room, kind of, dancing around, having fun, but trying to figure it out. I remember watching those eyes inside of a human trying to figure it out, and to see, the things that he's been able to accomplish throughout his career has been absolutely amazing. I'm glad to be a part of it. But New York, love it. Wouldn't change it for anything. It's a staple.
You obviously you won Dancing with the Stars in 2017, but you were always the guy that was thinking ahead, right? I mean, because I remember sitting with you in the cafeteria chatting with you, and you were always thinking about other interests and other things to pursue, even while you were trying to pursue being a running back at the highest level. Talk a little bit
Absolutely.
about that component of your life and why it's paid dividends now post playing career.
I always thought ahead because I never expected to actually play in the NFL. It was a dream. It was a goal. But heck, everybody got that type of goal. Who doesn't, right? So, um, I thought to myself, I'm here for a moment. And one of the reasons why I did decide to go to New York is it's New York. It's the mecca of everything, right? I knew I wasn't going to be a Hall of Famer. I knew I was never going to wear a gold jacket. That was never my desire playing in the league, right? It was always to perform at a high level of whatever capabilities I had. And thinking long term, right? Even if you have a long career in the NFL, a short relativity to life, right? It's a very short career. And I knew I would live more life, Lord willing, outside of wearing a jersey than wearing a jersey. And so how do I leverage this? How do I get inside of doors that a degree would not allow me to? Right? That shield was a key. Um, the New York Giants symbol is another key to allow me to enter into another network. And so I was always forward thinking of, I'm not going to be here for a long time. It's my obligated duty to wear my name on the back of my jersey with pride and dignity, and also the organizations that allowed me to be out here and play ball. I'm gonna represent them well, regardless of my personal opinions, right? And so, with that being said, I was always thinking forward of I want to be the leader from the grave for my family. That's where my forward thinking is. And in order for me to lead my family from the grave, I got to be very conscious of the decisions I make while I'm on this side. And the way I went about my NFL career, dancing, writing books, all the things that I'm doing now, I still consciously think about the day that I'm gone, that my legacy will carry on.
Let me ask you this. It's a hypothetical, but you had success playing with the Giants. Um, you had some big games, notable games like the one we're talking about right now, the 176 against Houston. Do you think because you were associated with the Giants brand, it made your pathway to even having an opportunity to be on Dancing with the Stars easier?
Oh, 100%. 100%. And, and just that alone for the right time and right place. I mean, just this is how I got on Dance with the Stars. I don't even know if a lot of people know this. I was actually in New York. I was in Manhattan. I was going to Modell's to do an autograph signing, right? And I got my headphones on. I'm jamming out to music. I actually think I was listening to Justin Bieber's album Purpose that just came out at the time, right? Just to date where we were at. And I'm just kind of moving my head, back and forth, and TMZ comes up, boom. Hey, Rashad, looks like you got some really nice moves. Where you headed to? You ever thought about doing Dance with the Stars? And the camera's in my face. I've never even seen Dance with the Stars at this time. I don't watch TV, right? I'm too busy trying to be on it. So they look at, I said, my answer was, yeah, it sounds great. Again, I don't know what it is. Somehow they got wave of that, right? And 2 years later, I was out with one of my friends, and she happened to work with Dance with the Stars. She was like, yo, I think you'll be an amazing talent for this show. I'm going to try to put your name in one by one, bit by bit. Eventually ended up happening perfectly. And I think it's because of I was in New York doing a little TMZ interview combined with the people that I met because I was in New York. And like it all ties back into that opportunity. That media exposure really was huge for me.
All right, so Rashad, just circling back because the Giants play the Houston Texans this week. Last time they were at MetLife Stadium, you tuned them up for 176 yards in a Giants 30-17 win. Give me your thoughts on what you've seen out of Saquon Barkley so far this year, because it looks like Saquon is back to being Saquon.
Yeah, he looks back in rare form, and I love it. I think he's a special guy. His talent is just unreal. He's like a creative player, man. That's like when you play Madden and you put together players, you try to put together a running back that is like a stature of what is this, right? Why is his legs like this? And he's that. He knows that too. And I think Giants and everybody who watches football understand that. And he's healthy. Playing in the NFL, one of the differences from the collegiate level is, you're playing against the best all the time now, and your enthuse and desire to be great is different. And I think at the running back position, a few things that you learn is how to fall, meaning not give up in a play, but like literally falling is different. Blocking is different, right? Seeing the game before it happens is different. Now the reaction stuff that's just on you. That's your skill set. That's your skill level. But actually there's vision of the game that can enhance. There's understanding how to put your body in a particular position that advances, and blocking advances. And I can see that he's taken a lot of strides in all of those assets to make you a great running back completely. And you're seeing him in rare form, man. And John's off to leadership change. Shout out to the head coach. It's different when you have different guys in the locker room, man. I tell you. And leadership, just so you know, leadership does not always have to come from the best player. It really doesn't. I remember when I was in the locker room, I remember some of the leaders on the team, and they wasn't the best players. And that's the thing that coaches don't always, and GMs don't always understand. And so, it's just like we all eating dinner at Thanksgiving, right? Let's say we're all eating dinner, and one person leaves and goes to the restroom. You don't feel no energy change, right? But then maybe your mom, it's one person that if they get up and walk out, it's like an energy drain, right? And that's your leader. It doesn't have to be, you know what I mean? And so when you get rid of certain players, I think it takes a little bit to get it back on track. Because I remember we were 11-5 my last year. We went to the playoffs. We went to Green Bay. We took a loss, but man, that was a great team, right? And they changed a few players the next year, and it was a struggle for a while. I ain't gonna name none of the names they got rid of. But, leaders ain't always the best players on the team.
Rashad, we appreciate a couple minutes of taking this walk down memory lane with us. Thank you so much, and let's not be a stranger here, bud.
Absolutely, man. Miss you guys.
Thanks for joining us for this special Popper's Perspective edition of the Giants Huddle podcast presented by Bob's Discount Furniture. Bob's is back with major style and savings on furniture, mattress, decor, and more for your home, shop, and store, or online at mybobs.com. Bob's Discount Furniture, the official furniture store and mattress partner of the New York Giants. We'll catch you next time, everybody.